What's going on YouTube? This is Rybo back at the Fake Bench, and today I have another cut or carry watch review. This time looking at the Luminox Leatherback Sea Turtle. This does have a model number. I don't quite remember offhand. It's like the 0320 or 0321 something. I'll look it up and add it to the title and description and everything. But this is the Leatherback Sea Turtle. They have lots of different color variations of this watch. I like this one a lot. If you watch my channel, you know I really like the kind of earthy colors, so this one really spoke to me. But very nice looking watch. This is really my first experience with Luminox, so I was very, very excited to check this out. Quick size comparison. I looked at my watch collection and kind of had one watch that really stood out as maybe being a competitor, and that is the Casio. So Casio has this, and I forget, it's a GA 2100 something, but kind of similarly sized. You can see some similarities. Obviously, this is an anti-digi watch. This is just a straight up quartz, but they both kind of fit that sport watch kind of vibe, and so it kind of, I don't know, kind of reminded me of each other. So you get, somewhat of an idea on size there. All right, so let's dive into the things that I like and dislike about the Luminox Leatherback Sea Turtle 03 something something. First up, let me just say, so this is my first experience with Luminox, and I never really knew exactly what to think about Luminox. So in the watch world, in my head at least, you kind of have these two different groups, right? So you have over here is the kind of fashion watch, popular watch brands and groups. And then over here you have kind of the nerds and like the really, I don't know, good watches, as we might say, right? So you have like a lot of your more automatic brands, your micro brands, the stuff that's not necessarily super popular, but it appeals to watch enthusiasts. And you have some brands that do a very nice job of appealing to both of those markets. You have Timex. You have, maybe Timex is kind of an entry-level example where it's like somewhat respected by this camp, but still very much appeals here. You have Casio, certainly, Seiko, maybe even Rolex at a higher level where it's like there's a name recognition here and so it appeals to this market, but it's really, also an enthusiast brand. And so those are very kind of high level generalities. But then you have this kind of middle ground. And Luminox to me has always been in this middle ground here, which is, I've heard about Luminox. It's typically coming from like over here. It's typically like you hear the Navy SEALs in Luminox and like that kind of thing. You don't hear a ton from this camp over here. But you don't hear anything really bad either. It's not like you hear it getting picked on or made fun of or anything. And so I never really knew what to expect from Luminox, and so I just kind of put it in this kind of weird category all by itself. And there are, other brands that are in that category. And so I was really excited to give this a shot, pick one up and kind of see what I thought. And so the first thing that I like is that overall, I've been very impressed with Luminox as a brand just based on this one experience. When I picked this up initially, the first thing you think is, wow, this is super, super lightweight. And it is. This is some kind of carbon core, that's what they call it, case and bezel, and it is super, super lightweight, a lot lighter than the Casio Gear. It really just disappears on the wrist in the sense that you don't feel that you have it on, even though it's a fairly bulky watch. And then there are just some other markers of quality, the depth of the dial, some of the things that they've done here, the tritium tubes that they've used. There are just some really nice things about this watch, and overall, I think it's given me a very positive view of the brand. And so I am much, much more likely to own a Luminox in the future, and I've even thought of it competing with my G-Shocks. So that's kind of the first overwhelmingly positive thing, is that I really like the watch overall, and I really like the brand because of that. And so I've been very, very impressed with that. Other things that I really like about this watch, So first of all, I love that you can wear it on a NATO. This is an aftermarket. This was one of my own NATOs. I thought that it matched very, very well. Didn't love the NATO that came on the watch, but I love the fact that you can very easily wear thick NATOs and really any type of NATO on this watch. That's kind of one of my common complaints about G-Shocks is that you can't do that. But this watch is very, very, very easy to switch out with different strap options. And so I really, really like that. And I think it wears really, really well on a NATO. I guess I should kind of semi-pop it on wrist just so you get an idea. For a bulky watch, I think it wears pretty well. Other things that I like, so you have a functioning bezel. That's a nice thing. It's a unidirectional bezel. Pretty loud, and I'll have something to say about it in a second. But it is a functioning bezel, which is very nice. I love the dial design. I don't think it's too basic. I don't think it's too complicated. I think it's just right, kind of in that sweet spot of being able to very easily tell the time, but not be too boring. So I really, really like that. Other things that I like about it, I mentioned how lightweight it is. I guess something else that I really, really like, and one of the first things I noticed the first night that I had this watch. So they use, there's some term for it. I forget what it is. It's like the Luminox super illumination something something. But essentially, from my understanding, these are tritium tubes that they have at the 12 o'clock and then every 2 hours. So 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then they have the tubes also on the hour marker or the hour hand and the minute hand there. You have an orange, you have orange illumination at 12 o'clock, and you have orange on the minute hand, and then you have green everywhere else, including the hour hand. I was blown away with how bright these are at night. These are super bright at night, and the orange and the green look fantastic together. They're, yes, you don't have them at every single hour indice, but it is plenty to tell the time at night. No issues at all. I have been very, very impressed with how bright those are. Granted, I think it's like a 25-year life for that, and so it's not something that's going to last forever. But man, really, really awesome. It looks really fantastic at night, and because it is that material, you're not going to really be worried about it charging up necessarily. So it's just going to be bright every night, no matter where the watch is, and that is a really, really cool thing. Other things that I like about the watch, nice crown. It is not a screw down crown, but it pops out to first and second positions. Very easy to maneuver here. Overall, nice crown, 100 meters water resistance, nothing wrong with that. Overall, fairly low profile, I think, and just a good, functional, solid watch. Like for a quartz grab and go watch, this is an excellent option. So I really, really like that. I think that's it. Let me talk quickly about one or two things that I don't like about this watch. So I mentioned the bezel. So it's very nice that it has a bezel. I think it's very easy to rotate. But the problem is the bezel has a decent bit of play. So you can see here, I'm at the 12 o'clock position, and I can pull that bezel back. And so it's really one of the first things you notice is when you go to grab this and turn, you can just see there's a lot of play in that bezel. Now, I'm not super surprised by that, just given the type of watch that this is, but at the price point, I think it's pretty unacceptable. And so while it is a usable bezel, that's just one of those quality indicators that's a bit frustrating because I think otherwise this is a very high quality watch, and that's one of those things that really makes it feel a lot cheaper than it really is. Other things that I don't like, I didn't love the NATO strap that came with this. I don't even have it on hand. It's probably around here somewhere, but it was just pretty simple, pretty basic. So, nothing super exciting there. Otherwise, I think that's about it. For me, this would be a carry for sure. Now, just given the amount of gear that kind of comes through, I don't know if this will be a forever watch for me. But I really like it. I would own another Luminox, no problem. I would say probably my biggest issue with this watch is that I don't know that the price point really aligns with the quality. I think it's a high quality watch. I think it's one that I would certainly enjoy wearing. But you're looking like I forget what I paid. I bought this secondhand. I think that new, these things are like $200 or more. That's looking at like a very nice G-Shock, and I don't know that the quality is there. So yes, good watch, solid watch, really like it, just probably fairly overpriced. So if I were you, I'd maybe pick one of these up on the secondary market, and I think you'd be pretty happy. Otherwise, really like it. Very thankful that I got to check out Luminox as a brand and definitely have a higher opinion of them than I have in the past. Hope you have enjoyed this cut or carry review, and I'll see you next time.